She followed him into the bathroom. A single gunshot shattered the silence. Now, blood stains the tiles, and no one can agree why she pulled the trigger. Was it revenge or madness? The bathroom lights flickered overhead, humming faintly like a warning. The tiles were cold under her bare feet, wet from a recently run shower. Steam clung to the mirror, blurring her reflection into a ghostly silhouette. From the hallway came muffled laughter, careless and familiar. She gripped the pistol tighter, her hands slick with sweat. Each step brought her closer to the door, ajar, just enough. The scent of sandalwood drifted through the steam, his cologne. A towel hung lazily over the door's edge, swaying slightly. Inside, the sound of running water drowned out her shallow breaths. She could hear him humming, off-key, content. Her lips parted, but no words came out, only silence. The gun trembled in her grasp, heavy with memory. Her heart pounded so loudly, it drowned the hum of the lights. She remembered the nights he screamed, the bruises hidden by scarves. She remembered the cold apologies, the flowers, the lies. The door creaked as she nudged it open with her shoulder. He did not notice. He was turned away, his back vulnerable, his neck exposed. Water cascaded down his skin, mixing with the scent of betrayal. She raised the gun, arm steady now, breath still. A single word echoed in her mind. Deserved. The first shot shattered the mirror. Glass rained onto the sink like icy confetti. He spun, eyes wide, slipping in panic. Blood splattered across the white tiles. His scream was strangled, raw, and wet. She did not stop. The second shot hit him squarely in the chest. The third silenced him forever. Steam hissed around him like breath from the mouth of hell. She stood motionless, the pistol still raised, smoke curling from a barrel. Red spread in a pool around his lifeless body. Her expression was unreadable, calm, hollow, or deranged. Behind her, the hallway light flickered again. A footstep, then another. She turned slowly, gun still in hand. A shadow stretched across the doorway, long and wavering. She blinked, blood still dotting her eyelashes. The gun felt fused to her hand now, part of her body. From the hallway, a voice called out, hesitant, "James!" It was soft, unaware. Another woman. The shadow moved closer. She did not answer. Instead, she stepped over the body, slow and deliberate. The floor creaked beneath her weight. The woman in the hole gasped as their eyes met. A coffee mug slipped from her hand. Ceramic shattered against the hardwood. Her breath caught in her throat as she backed away. What did you? The question choked before it could finish. No one ever expected to walk into a massacre. Blood still dripped from the doorframe. Still warm. Still moving. She stepped forward, unblinking. The pistol swayed slightly in her grip, but her aim never did. "Do you love him?" she asked. The woman's eyes darted to the body behind her, then back to the gun. I do not even know who. Do not lie. The bathroom still echoed with the shots, though the sound had long since died. A drip fell from the ceiling. Red stained the hem of her nightgown. "I saw the text," she said. Her voice was flat, emotionless, dead. The woman's hands rose slowly in surrender. She stepped back, inching toward the stairs. "I will not tell anyone," she whispered. But the gun remained steady. "You already did," she replied. There was a pause, a thin moment of silence that felt like drowning. Then, a siren, far away, distant, but growing louder. Blue and red lights washed faintly through the windows. She did not move. Her eyes flicked toward the hallway mirror. Her reflection stared back at her, lips parted, cheeks streaked with blood. It looked like someone else. Someone broken. Someone capable. Behind her, the woman bolted. Bare feet slapped against the floor. A door slammed. Glass shattered. She turned, but made no move to follow. Instead, she walked back into the bathroom, past the body, kneeling, looking him in the face one last time. His eyes stared through her, mouth frozen mid-plea. The steam had turned cold. Her breath misted in the air. The gun clattered to the tile, and for the first time since pulling the trigger, she closed her eyes and smiled. But outside, the front door burst open. Boots thundered against the floor. Voices barked. A beam of light swept down the hallway, then landed right on her. Dropped the weapon. The shout was sharp, slicing through the thick silence like a blade. Blinding white light pinned her to the bathroom wall. Her pupils shrank against it, but she did not flinch. I said, "Drop it." The pistol lay on the tiles, untouched now. Her hands were empty. She raised them slowly, fingers splayed, palms up. But her eyes, they did not plead. They stared, cold, unblinking. Behind her, James's blood continued to snake along the grout lines, turning the pristine floor into a crime scene canvas. "Get on your knees." She obeyed, but her movements were eerie, fluid, almost graceful. Officers swarmed in, 3, maybe 4. One grabbed her arms. Another pressed a knee into her spine. The cuffs bit into her wrists like snapping jaws. Metal on bone. "You have the right to remain silent." She laughed, a low, dry sound that turned every head in the room. Not manic, not remorseful, just amused. "Is something funny to you?" one officer asked, tightening the cuffs. She looked up. Her lip curled. "He said I would never do it." The room went still. Only the faint squelch of blood beneath boots filled the quiet. "I waited," she whispered, "every day. For him to stop, for him to change." A pause. Her voice cracked. Not with sadness, with exhaustion. But he didn't. Her eyes drifted toward the bathroom mirror, shattered, jagged, like the pieces of a life long broken. "I wanted peace," she said. Then her head turned sharply, eyes burning into the young female officer standing closest. "But you know what that's like, don't you?" The officer blinked, startled. Her face twitched, hands clenched. How did she? "Get her out of here," someone snapped. They hoisted her up, dragged her through the hall, past a kitchen, past a fallen mug, past a screaming woman now sobbing in a neighbor's arms. Flashing lights painted her skin in violent color. Red, blue, red again. Neighbors stood in clusters beyond the caution tape, mouths agape, hands over hearts. Whispers churned the air. "Is that her?" "That's James's ex." "Oh my God, she really did it." She turned her head just enough to see them. Their eyes devoured her. But Hayes, there was somewhere else. Far away, still in that bathroom, still staring into the mirror, still hearing the sound of glass falling like rain. The squad car door opened. She ducked down, slid into the back seat. The door slammed. Locked. Silence. Only her reflection stared back at her in the divider glass. But this time, it smiled first. His shoes echoed softly as he entered. Polished, deliberate, unhurried. A tailored suit clung to his frame, too formal for a detective, too familiar to be random. Her breath caught in her throat. He shut the door behind him. No words. Not yet. Just a click of the lock sliding back into place. Her eyes narrowed. Recognition flickered like a match in the dark. "Ethan," she said. It was not a question. It was an accusation. He pulled out the chair across from her and sat, folding his hands on the table. The fluorescent light cast shadows across his cheekbones, hollowing his face. He looked older, sharper, colder. "I heard," he said quietly, "about James." She did not respond. She watched him, waited. He leaned forward, elbows on the table, voice low, controlled. "But what I do not understand," he said, "is why you waited this long." Her stomach twisted. The room shrank. The air thickened. "I thought you were gone," she said. "You left Ethan." His expression did not change. Not a flicker. "You knew what he did to me," she continued, voice tightening. "You knew, and you walked away." "I had no choice," he replied. The words were dry, mechanical. James made sure of that. A flash of pain crossed her face, but she buried it deep. He leaned closer. "There were things you never knew." His voice dropped to a whisper. "Things he hid. From both of us." She stared at him, hard. Her knuckles whitened against the table. "You do not get to play the victim," she said. "You disappeared. You let him win." Ethan shook his head. "No," he said. "I survived." A beat of silence passed. Then he slid something across the table. A single photograph, face down. She hesitated, then flipped it. Her breath hitched. It was a little boy, 6 years old, maybe 7. Dark eyes, curly hair. Her hand trembled. She looked up, eyes wide. "No," she whispered. He nodded slowly. "Yes, he is yours." The floor seemed to tilt beneath her. Her pulse pounded in her ears. "No, James, he told me I could not." "He lied," Ethan said. "He always lied." She covered her mouth with her cuffed hands. Tears welled, but refused to fall. "You were pregnant when I left," he said. "He knew. He found out. And he made sure you never knew." She shook her head violently. "No, no, that is not possible. I would have known. I would have known." "He had help," Ethan said. "Doctors, money, threats. You miscarried, but not naturally." The words hit her like a slap. Her body went rigid. The metal chair scraped as she leaned forward. "You are saying he?" "Yes." A long silence. Only the buzz of the lights, and the distant sound of keys jangling down the corridor. Her hands dropped to her lap. The pistol, the blood, the silence afterward. Now it all felt different. He had not just broken her. He had stolen from her, ripped out something sacred, and buried it behind a smile. She looked at the photo again. The boy, her son. Her voice cracked, thin and broken. "Where is he?" Ethan hesitated, then leaned even closer. So close, she could see the tremble in his jaw. "He is safe," he said, "but not for long." She blinked. "What do you mean?" He glanced toward the door, lowered his voice. James was working with people, dangerous people, the ones who helped him cover things up. She stared, unmoving, breath shallow. "They do not care that he is dead," Ethan said. "They only care that now someone knows." A chill rolled down her spine. "They will come for the boy." The walls of the station seemed to close in. Tighter, colder. "I can protect him," he said. "But I need something from you." She narrowed her eyes. Her voice was ice. "What?" Ethan looked at her, long and hard, then said, "Everything James told you. Everything he made you do. Every secret." She stared. "No one ever believed me," she whispered. He reached across the table, placed his hand gently on top of Hayes. "I will." Before she could speak, the door opened again. A new figure stepped in. Tall, wearing a badge, eyes scanning the room like searchlights. "Interview's over," the man said. Ethan stood slowly, fixed his cuffs, smoothed his jacket. He turned to her, voice just above a whisper. "Do not say a word," he murmured. "Not until I come back." Then he walked out, leaving her alone again. But not broken. Not this time. This time, there was something left to fight for. The door slammed shut. Her ears rang in the silence it left behind. She stared at the metal, at the small rectangular window now dark. The buzz of fluorescent lights overhead became a scream in her skull. She pressed her cuffed hands against her knees to stop the shaking. A son. The word echoed inside her like a bell. It hurt. It healed. It lit a fire. She had bled, screamed, begged for years. She had buried her rage in silence. But now the truth had claws, and it was scratching its way out. The second officer, the one with the badge, stood stiffly across the room. She did not look at him. He did not speak. He only placed a thin folder on the table, slid it toward her, and left. No questions, no preamble, just paper and ink. She looked at it with suspicion, then leaned forward. The cover read, "Internal Affairs, Subject, James Callister. Confidential." Her breath caught. She flipped it open. Inside, photos, reports, scans of handwritten notes, bank transfers, an image of a clinic name circled in red ink, and then a discharge summary. Patient, Evelyn Hart. Procedure date, May 14th. Outcome, termination. Induced. She stared at the words, nausea curling in her throat. She reached out and touched the page. Her fingertip landed on her own name. Her body went cold. She had believed it was a miscarriage. James had brought her flowers, held her while she cried, made her tea, and all the while, he had known, he had signed the form. She tore her hand away like the page had burned her. Her lips parted, a strangled breath escaping. But before she could speak, a click came from the hallway. Then footsteps, fast, urgent, wrong. A murmur of voices rose outside the door. Then a crash. Metal hit tile. A shout. Then gunfire. 1 shot. 2 screams. The folder flew from the table as she shot to her feet. Her shackles rattled, held her back. She stumbled toward the door, yanking the cuffs against her thighs. "Hey!" she shouted. "Someone talk to me." No answer. Just chaos on the other side. A voice screamed down the hallway. "Protect the asset. Do not let her." Another shot cut it off. Blood sprayed against the bottom edge of the window. Her heart stopped. A shadow passed. Closer. Slower. Deliberate. She backed away, eyes wide, chest heaving. The door handle twisted. Once. Twice. Then stopped. Silence. Then a voice. Low. Unfamiliar. Male. "I know what he told you." Her blood ran cold. "I know about the boy." The voice was calm. Too calm. James was useful. Until he wasn't. She trembled. "Who are you?" she whispered. No answer. Just the scrape of something sharp against the metal. Then, "I am the one who finishes what he started." The door swung open, and he stepped inside. He was tall, broad-shouldered. A dark coat cloaked his frame, heavy and soaked at the hem. Rainwater dripped from his sleeves onto the station floor. But his eyes were dry, flat, emotionless, like glass before it shatters. He closed the door behind him without looking. A gun dangled from his right hand, muffled, fitted with a suppressor. His boots left bloody footprints in his wake. Her back hit the wall. There was nowhere left to go, no chair to use, no weapon to grab, just her breath, and the cuffs, and the pounding of her heart. He stepped forward, unhurried. "This could have been clean," he said. His voice was disturbingly casual, like he was discussing a misappointment. "But Ethan had to dig. Had to talk to you." She swallowed hard. "I do not know anything." He raised an eyebrow. "Now, Evelyn, that is not true, is it?" He held up a flash drive between 2 fingers. Red casing, blood smeared on one edge. James kept records. Redundancies. He tilted his head. Did he ever mention name? Greybridge. She froze. That word, that name, it lit something in her brain like a flashbulb. She had heard it, once, overheard it through the bathroom door. Late at night, James whispering into the phone. He said it like a threat. She said nothing, but her silence was its own answer. He smiled, a slow, wolfish thing. "Thought so." He walked toward her, gun swinging casually by his side. She reached behind her, hands shaking, grasping for anything. But there was only cold tile. "I have to admit," he continued, "I expected more screaming by now." His voice dropped. "But you are tired, aren't you?" He was only a step away. She could smell the smoke in his coat, the iron of blood, the cologne James used to wear. It made her stomach turn. "I know what they did to you," he whispered. "Hell, I helped arrange it." He leaned in close. Still think this was about revenge. Her lips trembled, but her eyes, they did not blink. She stared straight into his, and then smiled. Just a flicker, a shadow of defiance. His brow furrowed. "What?" She lifted her hands slowly, palms up, revealing the tiny piece of sharpened metal in her cuff. A snapped-off filing clip, taken from the folder, hidden beneath her wrist. His eyes widened, just as she drove it upward, straight into his neck. He staggered back, gun slipping, blood gushing in hot spurts down his chest. She lunged, grabbed the weapon, turned, and through the chaos and sirens echoing outside the station, another door flew open, and Ethan burst in, gun raised, eyes locked, on her, on the blood, on the man gasping for air at her feet. And for a single breathless moment, no one moved, no one spoke. Then Ethan whispered, "What did you do?" She stood frozen. Her chest rose and fell in sharp, ragged bursts. Blood coated her hands. It dripped from her fingers onto the floor. Warm, sticky, alive. The gun trembled in her grip, still pointed downward, still smoking. The man on the floor gargled, clutching his throat, legs twitching, each breath wetter than the last. Ethan took a slow step forward. His gun stayed raised. His eyes flicked from her face to the dying man, to the jagged piece of metal still wedged in muscle and vein. "Evie," he said, "put the weapon down." She blinked. That name. Only he ever called her that. Only before it all went dark. "I had to," she whispered. Her voice cracked. Thin. Barely a sound. "He came for the boy." Ethan's jaw clenched. His eyes flared, but his voice stayed low. "I know." Her grip loosened slightly. He said, "He helped James." She said, "He knew about Greybridge. He was Greybridge." The name hung between them like a blade. A ghost from files no one was allowed to read. A name whispered in clinics, in hospitals, in blackmail notes. A name that signed no checks but owned every crime. "I did not plan it," she said. "But when I saw the photo, when I knew he lied about my son." Her knees buckled. She dropped to the floor. The gun slid from her hand and clattered beside her. "I just wanted it to stop." Ethan stepped forward fast, kicked the gun away, then crouched beside her. She did not look at him. She stared at the man now choking on his own blood. "You said I was crazy," she whispered. Ethan paused. "What?" Her eyes slowly turned toward him. Empty, raw, burning. "Back then," she said, "when I told you James was hurting me, controlling everything, you told me I was paranoid." He flinched. "Just enough. I did not understand then," he said, "but I believe you now." She shook her head slowly. "Too late," she whispered. The room filled with distant shouts, boots pounding down hallways, radios crackling. Someone had found the other bodies. Time was running out. Ethan stood, holstered his weapon. He pulled a folded piece of paper from his coat, placed it on the table beside her. A photo was clipped to it. The boy again, but older, taller, standing in a schoolyard. "You want to keep him safe." Ethan said, "Then we need to disappear." She looked up, eyes bloodshot, tears streaking through ash and sweat. "How?" she rasped. Ethan's voice dropped low. "Urgent. There's a back exit. Through records. No cameras. I can stall them. 15 minutes, maybe less." Her hands trembled. Her body screamed. But something new rose in her chest. A fire. Hope twisted into rage. Rage into purpose. She stood slowly, wiped the blood from her face, nodded once, and then, behind them, the dying man choked out one last word. Not a name, not a plea, but something else. A warning. Ethan's face paled. Her breath stopped, because the word was others. Then silence, and in it, a distant sound. Not sirens, not boots, but a phone, buzzing, from the dead man's coat pocket. And on the cracked screen, a message blinked. Status. Target not confirmed. Proceed with Phase 2. Ethan grabbed the phone. His voice was ice, barely breathing. "They know," he said. "They are not done." Then, the hallway lights cut out, one by one, plunging them into darkness.